Hello there everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Good Game of Fun with me, THP, talking to you guys once again. And I am very excited over this fairly unexpected announcement, but it is a pleasant one. Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana is the latest game in the Ys series. I loved it to death, one of my favorite games that I played last year. It came out on Nintendo Switch, that's where I played it on. And I have gushed about it for ages. You guys know that I love it. I have a review of it up on the YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and look into that if you guys are curious. But it is an action RPG. You're on this giant island, you're stranded there, and you have to explore pretty much all of it. And yeah, you meet up with a bunch of characters on the way, and it's a very, very pleasant experience. It's out, I think, on it's on PlayStation Vita, it's on PC and Switch, right? And so that's a pretty good precedent here. That's a good setup for me to say that, you know, Falcom just announced that Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana is going to come to smartphones worldwide. Everybody's going to be able to play this game on their phone, although there's no release date. The news article from Gamatsu is fairly short and sweet, but not as sweet as Dana here in the picture. I love you, Dana. Yeah, it is coming to iOS and Android devices via publisher Line Kong Entertainment Technology, developer Falcom announced. But there's no release date for this. We got the action RPG here. First launched for PS Vita in July 2016, followed by PS4 in May 2017, PC in April 2018, and Switch in June 2018. Yeah, so every year they kept releasing Ys 8 on different platforms. So yeah, it was initially just exclusively a PlayStation Vita game, which was rather impressive, because to me, I think this is like a really big game, right? Even running on Switch, it was still at 30 FPS rather than 60. It didn't really run at 60 until the PS4 and the PC version. I think Vita is also, it runs at around the same as the Vita version, I guess I would say. But it was still a really great experience. I liked it a lot. You have an overview of the game based on a Western publisher, NIS America press release, but again, I just explained what the game was all about, and you guys can read up on all that if you guys are interested. The key features: an epic tale, another side, unravel the mystery of the blue-haired maiden Dana. It takes a village, rescue your fellow shipwrecked passengers and build a village, party on, choose characters on the fly, lightning fast combat. Yeah, and that's it. That is the whole article. Now granted, just because the article is over, that doesn't mean that my you know, contribution to this is over. There's obviously a lot that I can talk about. So, one of the big differences that the phone version will have with stuff like, you know, the Switch version and the Vita version and the PC version is going to be, you know, that big giant elephant in the room of the controls. Yeah, you know, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to plug in some sort of, you know, controller attachment to play it, or some wireless Bluetooth controller or something on your phone to be able to play this a little better. But most people are not going to have that. Most people are just going to want to play with the regular screen. And yeah, I feel like that might create some problems. I am concerned about what the game will actually, you know, be like and look like and play like and sound like. I know that, you know, a lot of phones these days, I have an iPhone 7 right now, but you have iPhone 8, you know, iPhone 10, and you have, you know, 10XR, 10S, and a whole bunch of different versions. And don't even get me started on Android. You know, they got their Samsung Galaxy, and then that one that folds and stuff. Phones right now are crazy, and I think there are some phones out there right now that are even more powerful than a Nintendo Switch. And so if they have a faster processing and a better chip or whatever, then I don't think they should have a problem running Ys 8. Now, I do wonder if the Vita version and the Switch version run at 30 FPS. It runs well, but not the best it could be. It makes me wonder how well is it going to run on a phone. But then again, if there are phones that are more powerful than the Switch, then I think we're going to be just fine with a phone. The controls is a big thing that I'm concerned about, because if we're going to be moving around a lot, and you know, with Ys 8, I haven't played any of the other games, but I know that with Ys 8 is full 3D, You know, you got camera movements. There's a lot of dodging, especially in the later levels. There's a lot of really difficult enemies. Also, depending on the difficulty level, if you're playing on easy, I think you'll be fine. But if you're playing on the harder difficulty modes, then you're definitely gonna have to learn how to dodge and do the guard breaks and all that stuff. The flash guard, where you have to dodge at exactly the right time. So there's definitely gonna have to be some sort of dodge roll button out there. So how much of the screen is that going to take up, right? Let alone, you know, like the menus and, you know, the character health and stuff that'll be in the corner, right? And then the mini map or whatever. So what space are you gonna find to have some sort of analog stick and buttons, let alone one button for dodge rolling, one for the camera, one for locking the camera in place, one for locking onto enemies? I can only assume that they will use the UI to, you know, try and integrate some of that stuff, right? Maybe if you just tap on the mini-map, you can just get, moved over to the full-on map. Or maybe there will just be one button for everything, right? Because that's how it works for The Legend of Heroes and stuff. You can just go into your notebook, and from there you can flip pages and tabs on pretty much everything, other than, like, your basic status. And, yeah, also another thing that really concerns me, graphically, I think it'll be fine. I think I might be worrying a little bit too much there. Phones are really powerful now, so I think it'll run it just fine. I mean, if even back in the day you could run Infinity Blade, and there's a lot of, you know, modern games that come out today that run just fine on a phone, you know? I know that free-to-play titles tend to muddy the water a lot in terms of the kind of quality games that you can get on the App Store or on Google Play or whatever, but believe me, there's a lot of really awesome quality games that you only pay for once, and, you know, that's it. And there's a fantastic experience. So I think graphics is gonna be fine. Sound, I think it'll be the same. It'll have the same voice acting or whatever. Are they gonna add any more improvements if this is a new release? You know, usually when it comes to phones, there's no, like, oh, this is the definitive edition. Usually it's just the base game with nothing else. Maybe they'll add some DLC, some of the swimsuits that come with the Switch version. I feel like they'll have all of that integrated, but I don't think they're gonna be like, oh, a brand new chapter is gonna come out. No, I feel like that'll be fine. I don't think they'll be adding more of that, and I don't feel like it needs to either. The game is great enough as is. What else? Yeah, I mean, the controls is the big concern, because I play with the Pro Controller a lot, and, you know, there's a lot of stuff where you hold here, and you move here, and you do this attack and that attack, and switch from that character, and just, there's a lot going on, you know, when you're playing, especially later on, where the fights get really savage, you know, and there's a lot of shortcuts and stuff to your items, and your menus, and healing and stuff. Yeah, that is definitely not the kind of game that you can just play with, you know, analog stick and one button and that's it, right? It's not just move and attack. There's so much more behind it. But yeah, if there's any other big concern that I have other than control scheme, it is definitely memory. There's one of the big struggles that I have right now with my phone, is that I am always deleting something, because I am always running out of memory on my goddamn phone. There's Hikage, by the way. Say hi to Hikage. Hello. I'm always looking at my storage, being like, okay, what can I delete? What am I not using? Or I'm like, you know, I haven't logged onto this free-to-play game app in a while, but I'm thinking of going back. All of those excuses, right? To, like, not delete something. And so whenever I want to download a new game, I always end up deleting a whole bunch of other stuff, or deleting pictures or videos and stuff like that. And, you know, when you look at the Nintendo Switch version of the game, if I get in here real quick, yeah, 14 gigabytes. There are 14 gigabytes just for me to download VIII, the whole game, on my little SD card that I have on there. Now, granted, I don't know how much memory it takes up for the PlayStation Vita version, let alone the PC version. I know that resolution and the amount of content and everything is way different, so it's kind of an unfair comparison. Obviously, if they're gonna make it run on a small screen like this one, then the resolution will obviously be different. It'll be smaller, and I'm sure they'll optimize it for it to be more manageable, and so that it won't be as heavy, you know? I would argue maybe, like, what do you like, 3 gigabytes at the most? I mean, I'm having a tough time downloading something with 1 gigabyte, you know? I have a bunch of stuff here that is really, really heavy on the memory. If I go on my phone right now, and if it ever wants to load, And if I go to, where's storage? General, storage. Yeah, look at that. I have a 32 gigabyte phone, and I have 31.2 gigabytes already, you know, clogged up. And all of it, the vast majority of it is apps, so... Yeah, Senran Kagura, Shinobi Masters, the free-to-play game, is 3.72 gigabytes. Azure Lane is 2.60 gigabytes. My Music is 1.8. There's another Japanese... Yeah, a lot of these are just free-to-play Japanese game apps. 1.71 gigabytes, 1.6, 1. Yeah, so a lot of this doesn't really sound too big until you start to accumulate all of it, right? So if I'm not gonna have space for me to, you know, install another, like, 3.5 gigabyte full-on action RPG onto my phone, right? Unless it's The World Ends With You, in which case I'll beat that game 100%, which is exactly what I did, but I deleted it off of my phone because, it had too much memory, you know? So that's exactly the problem here. Also, another question that I have is the pricing, because in the App Store, they live in a very different world than in the regular gaming industry. In the regular home console industry, people will pay $60 for a game that they really like, right? Even if it's just a 10-hour shooting game like Call of Duty or whatever. Or not even that, you know, Battlefield 1, I think, was like 4 hours of single-player campaign, and the rest is just online. Yeah. Is it, well, you know, when you look at the free-to-play market in the App Store, you always think, oh, you know, all of the games are going to be free or 99 cents, and that's it, right? Anything higher than 99 cents, people are going to be like, ooh, it's a little too much, you know? I remember when I bought The World Ends With You, it was, I think, $15. That's probably the most expensive thing I've ever bought in the App Store, period. And that's only because that's my #1 most favorite game of all time, so of course I spend money on that. But, you know, when it comes to Ys 8, I mean, I love it to death as well, but, you know, I got the Switch version, and I can take this with me, put it in a bag, and take it anywhere, you know? So there's really no need for me to have it on my phone, but there are other people that don't have a Switch, or that, you know, it's just more convenient. They carry less things around when they just have it on phone. So what are they gonna do? Are they going to charge you $15 to play the game on phone? Or is it going to be like other games that I have, like Phoenix Wright or Ghost Trick, where it's free, and maybe the opening parts of the game, maybe Chapter 1 is free, and then all of the chapters are going to be charged, you know, it's going to be paid DLC, and maybe that'll equate to maybe $40, right? Instead of having the giant $40 price tag on it, maybe they'll be like, well, the first hour of the game is free, and if you want to buy all of the chapters, it'll be $5 for each one, right? And then that'll equate to a bigger, you know, home console type of pricing. I mean, I feel like if you want to get more people to, at the very least, taste the game, to try it out, I think that would be nice, but it is kind of a bad look to kind of, you know, be like, DLC, 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 right? In my personal opinion, I think it would be best for them to just charge you $20 or $15 or whatever this will cost, and just get the full game and just play the whole thing from beginning to end. I think that would be a lot better, but again, thinking about the type of climate that the App Store is at, where pretty much almost everything is free, with either advertisements or microtransactions, then I feel like they will integrate into that space a lot more. They'll transition a lot better. I'm pretty sure... Let me check the App Store, actually. If I type in Falcom, will I get... Nope. There's no Falcom on the App Store, at least here in the Western one. What if I go Ys? Just YS. Oh, there we go. Ys 1 and Ys 2 Chronicles. So there are Ys games on the App Store. I never bothered to check. .emu is the publisher for this. Made by, you know, Falcom. I mean, obviously, I'm looking at screenshots of Ys 1 right here. This is like the original. It's like a remake of Ys 1. Yeah, this looks like Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky, pixel art and stuff like that. There's a whole bundle where you can just buy both of them for $7, as opposed to just buying each one for $5, and that costs even more. Oh man, I think it might be cool for me to actually buy it. If I want to get into Ys, you know, I started with 8, so I think it might be good to start at the beginning, right? But then, again, I want to check what the memory for this is like. So let's just go look at Ys 1, you know? If I look at Ys Chronicles 1, how much? I mean, that's the first game, right? 444 megabytes. And Ys 2, assuming that on average that's around the same, that's already 1 gigabyte. Just imagine the 8th game in the franchise, you know, full-on 3D environment, a really, really large island, by the way. Yeah, I can't imagine this being, you know, less than 3 gigabytes, which to me, that already hurts the space on my phone by a ton. I don't even have 1 gigabyte of free space left, so I'm definitely gonna have to migrate a lot of stuff to my computer, mostly my pictures. Although they do show you there, you know, the amount of memory everything is taken up, and I saw there that apps is like more than 80%. Just, is mostly just getting rid of all the free-to-play apps that I never play, that I keep saying that I'm gonna play, but I never do. I actually like Azure Lane better in the Japanese release, because I'm more, you know, on top of the new updates or whatever. I have the American version of Azure Lane on there, which is way behind, and so I don't even play that one. But it's in English, you know, so it's like trying to balance, you know, one advantage over another disadvantage. It's tough. It's tough to think about. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of things that this article really doesn't talk about at all. It just gives you the basic press release, but what are the controls gonna be? How are the graphics gonna look like? What's gonna be the resolution? Can I play this on, you know, Apple TV? Can I, you know, buy the app on Apple TV and then grab a controller and then play it on my television? That'd be really cool if you did that. Will this game be on, like, that Apple Arcade thing that they want to do, where you stream out games or whatever with their own little service? It'd be cool if they did. And then on top of that, you know, pricing, what's the business model gonna be like? Yeah. Well, what else? Graphics, sound, pricing, controls. Yeah, I think that's everything. That's all the kind of stuff that I can think about in terms of the possibilities of, you know, VIII coming out on phones. I am excited to see what they do with it. I don't think they're going to be adding anything new. I think it'll just be the regular base game. I can assume, you know, that it might not run at 60, it might be a 30, but then again, I have been surprised in the past over how well these games run on phones, so maybe I'm underestimating it, but I want to wait, and I want to see how, you know, this kind of pans out. As I said, there is no release date announced, but I can't imagine it being, you know, what was I gonna say? I can't imagine it taking long, you know? It'll probably be this year, because as I said, you know, came out on Vita in 2016, came out on PS4 in 2017, came out on PC and Switch in 2018, so now it'll come out on phones in 2019. So there we go. So to keep up, you know, the pattern there, it has to be this year. It has to be 2019. If it's 2020, you had a good streak there, but yeah. I'm excited. I mean, again, I really, really like Ease, and it depends, man. If it runs very, very well, and they actually do something cool with it, then I honestly wouldn't mind playing through it all over again. But at the same time, it's a bit of a tough sell, because when you have a Switch and you can just take it everywhere, God, my screen is freaking filthy. Look at all those fingerprints. I was playing a very touch-heavy game, so that's why it looks all gross like that. I gotta wipe it with something. But, yeah, that's the story. And, I wonder what you guys have to think about this. I know that I have some Ease fans in the audience. And, you know, maybe you guys can talk about your speculations. What would you guys like to see in an iPhone port? Do you guys even care about an iPhone port? I always like seeing, you know, these bigger games going onto phones, because that always kicks the ass out of all those free-to-play titles. And, you know, it also breaks that perception of, like, only crappy games, only small games, only free-to-play games are on mobile. But in reality, there's a whole lot of really, really awesome games on there that, you know, run just fine and play just fine on a phone. I remember the very first time I ever played Doom, the original Doom, was on iPhone. And I played through all of it from beginning to end on iPhone. And it was amazing. And then I got it on Steam, and it was even more amazing. And then I modded it, and it was even more amazing. So, yeah, definitely, you know, not everybody has a Switch, not everybody has a PS4 or something, so sometimes phones, that's their way of doing everything. They're practically little tiny computers in your pocket now, so the sky's the limit when it comes to this. So, what do you guys expect out of a port? What would you guys like to see from, like, the control scheme, the business model, the graphics? Would you want to play it on an Apple TV or see it on Apple Arcade? You know, just what your expectations are. If you're interested, if you're not interested, or, you know, just put a comment saying, that seems pretty cool, and that's it. And then never watch this video ever again, because it'll only be as relevant as, you know, just the time, you know, of the day that I put it on there. But, yeah, feel free to give this video a like if you guys enjoyed it. You can subscribe, hit that bell icon, because well, I was gonna say bell icon to be notified, but not even that matters anymore. YouTube isn't really notifying anybody about anyone posting any new videos, so I would say to go down in the description and follow me on social media and stuff, so that you guys can get updated on any new videos that I post. And, yeah, we still have some more, Ys-related news stories. Next up, tomorrow, I'm gonna bring out a brand new, some more news coverage on Ys, particularly on Ys 9, the newest and latest release for, the Ys, series, franchise, whatever. And, you guys might find out that the release of that game will come sooner than you guys think. That's Falcom working really, really fast. I don't know what it is about the Japanese games industry. Well, they're just, they pull out these games real quick. And they always end up being good as well. That's the funny part, They work fast, and it's a good quality product, but they do work themselves to the bone. So, yeah, props to them. I'll catch you guys next time for Talk About Ys 9.